Okay, in 2010, Jack Scott started an irreverent narrative about his new life in Turkey with his civil partner Liam. Perking the Pansies quickly became the most popular blog of its kind that side of the Aegean. His growing audience clamoured for a book, Jack duly obliged, and his memoir, Perking the Pansies, Jack and Liam Moved to Turkey, was published at Christmas. Please welcome, tell us more, Jack Scott.
My book, Perking the Pansies, Jack and Liam Moved to Turkey, chronicles our early days, just a year in the making. The tales are true, but some of the names have been changed to protect the guilty. Openly gay Turks in conspicuous same-sex relationships are as rare as ginger in lamps. Here was Clement, a queen of the old school, displaying an air of conservative respectability by day and mounted by the valet after dark. There's no way, Clement declared, I wish to be identified with the promiscuous homosexuals of Soho, parading their depravity for the whole world to see. As one of those promiscuous homosexuals, I rather objected. Nancy's eyes sparkled with pleasure. She described what she called intense orgasmic bliss, a state which rendered her unable to speak, or think, or walk. She would only stay in Turkey for 3 weeks at a time. Any more would be too risky. My vagina couldn't take it, darling. I have to say, Nancy's in the house tonight, so Özgun, our waiter, looked across. We exchanged, we both know what we are glances, just to make sure we were on the same page. Our new fey friend had a slim, girlish body and strangely haunted eyes. He also had a wife and 4 children. Özgun was resigned to his fate as a covert gay man and was completely bewildered by our choice to live in a country where open homosexuality was considered shameful. Charlotte welled up and grabbed my arm. "The baby's yours?" I asked. "Yes, it's our time," she replied. As we chatted, hugged and fussed over the baby, an astonishing tale unfolded. A young Turkish woman had given birth in Izmir. She named the baby Adalet. Unmarried and no better than a harlot in the eyes of her community, Adalet's mother was faced with an agonising choice. Place her baby in a state orphanage or find somebody to take her on. On the morning Clement fled to the hills, a small party of well-wishers had recreated a scene from Downton Abbey and lined up outside his door. The trio of pretty boys, Tarek in crumpled suit and Selma in her Sunday best. In truth, Tarek was dolled up for a circumcision party in Bodrum, but Clement didn't need to know that. Lynn and I had prepared some parting gifts, a handmade card with a doctored picture of Clement dressed as a nun, and a small black box containing an assortment of fruit-flavoured compotes. Nancy appeared from the cabin like a burlesque warm-up act. Irfan's concubine had poured herself into a tight fluorescent green swimsuit, low at the cleavage, high at the thigh, and leaving very little to the imagination. The old sea dog's gun sight followed the bronze bus line and remained fixed on target until it moved to the bow. Soon, Nancy's moisture meter hit critical, and the star-crossed lovers retired to the lower cabin. The music became more frenzied and the crowd more raucous. Mehmet pulled down the blinds and raised the heat by pumping up the volume. Young Özgun fluttered from one flame to another, a carefree moth liberated from the crushing weight of duty and intent on sampling the heat of every single candle. Early the next morning, a team of social workers came to the house. They were flanked by a detachment of armed police, waving an order from the provincial governor. Charlotte swept Adalet into her arms. Alan stood between her and the police and refused to budge. Charlotte screamed at the social workers, demanding an explanation and hugging Adalet hard. The protest was useless, and Adalet was prized away. Charlotte ran barefoot into the street and begged them not to take her child. She slumped to the ground and called to her baby. It was all over in minutes. Nurai, the cupboard maid, emerged from the kitchen, joined us at the table, and tucked into a modest meal of pasta and salad. She asked her mistress about me and Liam. Oh dear, how should I reply, Jack? Honestly, I said. We all studied Nurai's mystified expression. She grappled to make sense of something that was illogical and patently untrue. We thought it cruel to persevere, and in the end settled on cousins. Usgan's death had changed everything. He had been raped, robbed, and murdered by 3 teenagers in a back street of Yargabak. His body was found in a dry riverbed, naked, beaten, and barely recognisable. Our halcyon days came to a screeching halt. The Turkish Minister for Children called homosexuality a disease that could be cured. Middle England miseries welded to their tabloids. Sad people, bad people, expats in a bubble people. They hate the country they come from, they hate the country they come to. This was my social life. This is what I gave everything up for. This was Liam's bloody nirvana. We were the mad ones, not them. I asked the ultimate question. What was there to keep us here? A harmless little man had become the victim of a vicious homophobic attack, and we were surrounded by myopic emigres who obsessed about the price of bacon. I missed my friends and my family, decent Indian food, central heating, the big city buzz, riding the tube outside the rush hour, and the soaring triumph of liberalism. A message from a Turkish-American Bodrum Belle gave us hope. She wrote, "There will be envy among your neighbours that there are 2 very polite, gay foreigners who pay on time and are courteously living in the family stone house, both of which have already singled you out. Whilst the older generation counts the pesos, you are setting a path of freedom for some of the very trapped sons and daughters of Turkey. If it were easy, you would not be doing it." Turkey is a magical land, graced by a rich culture, gorgeous people, and an intrinsic love of family, which I hugely respect. A respect for difference won't destroy that. It's okay to be queer. It won't bring the house down, though it might bring in a little more style. At times I think we're floundering about like idiots, but now and then I think we're making a real difference. Time will be the judge. In the meantime, rising inflation and falling interest rates may yet force us to perk our pansies elsewhere. I hear Bulgaria is next.